Another one which goes down to the wire, and tonight, talking about all of it, we have Zack Tawatari, Brandon Scott from Sports Radio 610, as well as former Texan Seth Payne from Sports Radio 610. Good to see everybody under the circumstances. It was a win, though, right? It's a win.
Yes.
Yeah. Hard to complain about winning, right?
Here we are again.
Yeah. All right, but still, in our inboxes is the satisfaction survey. Let's fill it out together, starting with Seth Payne.
Look, I can't overthink this stuff anymore. I'm satisfied. This team is 6-2. They have three really good teams remaining on the schedule: the Lions, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, and then a bunch of patsies. They're figuring out a way to win. It's an extended preseason. Okay, they're 6-2. 6-2.
I don't know, Seth. It's too optimistic for me. I gotta stay neutral on this one. Yes, they won, but my goodness, can somebody start to protect C.J. Stroud? All I got to say is, in Joe Mixon we trust.
You're greedy.
Look, so we're just going to get more negative and more negative as we go along here, because Seth is satisfied. Zach's going to stay neutral, but I'm going to be unsatisfied. I'm satisfied with the win, but when we break down this game, your left guard gets benched, okay? The guy that replaces him gets hurt. Stephon Diggs goes out with an injury, and it's another one of those games where they skirt by. They skirt by just off the hair of their chin.
I like the way you talk, Brandon Scott, because I'm right in this camp as well. And I hate to do that on Andre Johnson's big day where he gets his Hall of Fame ring. But for all those reasons Brandon mentioned, I'm in the unsatisfied camp as well. Well, Kenyon Green, a major part of the broadcast with him being benched, then he returned. If Patterson can't go, what will the Texans do Thursday facing the Jets and Quinnen Williams?
I think, look, you're going to the Jets. The Jets were last year, C.J. Stroud was concussed by Quinnen Williams. And I don't feel better about Kenyon Green at left guard as I did Juice Scruggs at left guard last year. So I don't move Juice Scruggs to left guard and have Patterson play center. I think Patterson, in the one series that he was out there, I thought he looked pretty good. I think it has to be Kendrick Green and see what he can do. He's not the ideal size for a guard, but he's super, super scrappy. And I think more than anything, he knows his roles and responsibilities. He can be part of a wall, perhaps, because we haven't seen a wall out of the offensive line.
Honestly, Jason, I was surprised that once Jared Patterson went down in this game, that they didn't go to Kendrick Green, that they went back to Kenyon Green, which of course showed us that it wasn't an injury, it was indeed performance, the reason why he was benched. But just the fact that they didn't, to answer your very question, what do we do next week with Quinnen Williams, when we're going up against Quinnen Williams and we've got this situation at left guard, the fact that they didn't do that to see what it looks like, just to try it out, surprised me. But I would go with Kendrick Green. I don't think that Jared Patterson is going to be able to go if he's having the concussion protocol and some of the talk in the locker room. Doesn't make me feel confident in that. And based off of what you've seen from Kenyon Green so far, I don't see how you don't try something else, and that something else should be Kendrick Green, in my opinion.
I agree. It's got to be Kendrick Green. I mean, you got to do something, right? They got to shake things up because clearly it's not working with Kenyon Green. And he's clearly struggling with confidence on top of potentially scheme things. So you got to shake it up. You can't go in there with that kind of energy.
Is it scheme? Is it confidence? Is it all of the above?
It's kind of like trying to explain what happened in a 5-car crash in real time. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of mayhem, and part of it is some of the guys, their technique at the beginning of the snap. It's an understanding of what their responsibilities are and how to sort out blitzes. There's somebody messing up at any given time. Ken Younggreen has the most physical issues. Like, he gets beat physically more than the other guys. But across the board, there's just too many times where you can tell guys aren't on the same page. So that goes back to coaching. That goes back to O-line coach, tight ends coach, and ultimately Bobby Slowick.
And it was a similar issue, Jason, back when they were running a different scheme in his rookie year. Think about it. Yeah. It's his third season, second scheme, didn't play last year, so had a chance to just sit there and absorb the scheme, learn everything that he needed to learn schematically, technique-wise, get his mind right and all of that. We saw what it looked like in the previous scheme. We see what it's looking like now. It's just not good.
So the Texans are 6-2. I'd say the floor is pretty good, but should we readjust that ceiling given how they're winning and, of course, the teams they've already lost to?
I'm adjusting my ceilings also based on the fact that the Browns just beat the Ravens today, and you've got a Chiefs team that's undefeated and yet doesn't look anything like a classic Chiefs team. It's hard for me to just not I do this a lot, actually. I sit at home by myself and I think about Nico Collins coming back, which will be for the Lions game. Thank you. Maybe he comes back for the Lions game. I'm hoping he comes back for the Lions game. Nico Collins and Joe Mixon on the field together, I think, is an entirely different dynamic, and I think that's where the ceiling is. What can that offense be when you've got both those guys?
I'm still viewing the ceiling similarly to the way I did when the season started. It's interesting that the offense isn't nearly as good as a lot of us thought it would be, and the defense might be in some cases a little bit better, but however it works, it all balances out for me in terms of, like, look at the record. They're 6-2. They seem to be kind of catching their stride going into their 9th game of the season. They had been telling us since the beginning of the year that, hey, it takes 8 weeks, it takes 8 games to figure it out. Well, you played 8 games. I hope you figured it out by now. I'm going to keep the expectations relatively the same as they have been the entire year.
That sounds like my wife when I've told her for years about my various plans for vacations and college funds and everything. Oh, I've got a plan. We're good.
Sure,
we'll have it all figured out. Don't worry about it.
The good thing is, though, is there's real no need for sandblasting with this team. I think it's a little worse than nitpicking, but obviously getting everybody healthy would be the first thing to get this team to where it really should be at this point.
Well, the funny thing is that the worse they win, if that's a thing, the better I think that they could be, because they continue to win and they're beating themselves in so many different respects.
I got you now.
I really feel like the ceiling is still very high on this team for what they can be. They're just not playing that well.
It's like an ugly guy that pulls lots of chicks. Like, oh man, boy,
we all know one.
Yeah, but just boy, you could be George Clooney if you just clean yourself up a little bit.
And don't tell that guy about his ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm actually amazed by the Texans and Colts in this series that in the past 3 games, the last 3 meetings, they've been decided by a total of 9 points when you look at how good CJ Stroud is and whatever Anthony Richardson is.
Yeah.
Is it really that little much of a difference between these two teams?
I think that the thing about the Colts is that they've been a good roster for a while now. They've just been short a quarterback, and they've tried veteran guys. They've rolled in various. They did a good job with Gardner Minshew last year, and I think they took their crack at it with Anthony Richardson. And I'm having a hard time seeing him ever become a good NFL quarterback. I mean, there's nobody. I don't know. He's had 1 game this year that he completed over 50% of his passes when he was 3 for 4 and got injured, which is the other big thing about him. And yet I'm terrified of him. I don't know what to...
I think you also, not only do you sit by yourself alone thinking about Nico Collins, it's pretty clear you're also thinking a lot about Anthony Richardson.
I do. It's like, because I'm scared of it. It's like if I were scared of clowns. Like, I shouldn't be scared of clowns, but I'm scared of clowns. That's what he's the clown that I'm scared of. But not calling him a clown. It's just an analogy.
But it's like if he goes, just make up a number, if he goes 5 for 20, we understand that all 5 of those plays could go for 60 yards or more or be a touchdown. Yeah. So he's enigmatic in that way. Like the same way that on the Texans side, we're like, oh my God, we're afraid of him. The Colts fans got to be afraid of him on the opposite end because they know that he'll give it and he'll take it away.
And that's how Shane Steichen ends up coaching. Like he's playing, like he's gambling. He just keeps pulling the lever on the slot machine, hoping that it's going to work out. They come out, they pass 5 straight times to begin the game. They put Anthony Richardson of the 30% completion percentage on 3rd and 3 in their own end zone. They've got him in the back. I'm going to carve him, and now I'm going to throw a pick to Jalen Petrie.
Anthony Richardson is a Vegas trip. You might win a little bit, but at the end, it's just going to be like burned out.
Yeah. So scared of him.
For me, I actually think that the reason these games are so close is because both of these teams share a similar trait. They are both very streaky. They both play very streaky. They have different strengths and different weaknesses. Obviously, the Texans have a much better quarterback in CJ Stroud, but overall, they both seem to be streaky, and because of that, they beat themselves in a lot of ways.
So if Diggs cannot play this Thursday, how will this offense look with both he and Nico out? I'm going to ask both of you guys first.
Look, I think when you saw them come out and on that one series, they started hitting the tight ends. They went to Cade Stover. They went to Dalton Schultz. You started to get John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson involved. I think it becomes that. You're going to have to spread it out more, and then obviously Joe Mixon is a big part of that. But the Jets' defense is they're a much greater test than the Indianapolis Colts. And going in there without Stephon Diggs, this is, if they can get the pass protection right, first and foremost, which is a tough challenge this week, it's a big challenge for CJ to really spread the ball around, get the ball out quickly, all of those things.
It feels eerily similar to last year's matchup against the Jets. Now, I know they had Nico Collins for like the first play or first drive or whatever it is, but they effectively played that game without Nico Collins, and they were shorthanded. Of course, we talked about Quentin Williams concussing C.J. Stroud because of the interior offensive line. Oh, let's fast forward to this year. We've got questions about the interior offensive line, specifically at left guard. No Nico Collins. Stephon Diggs gets hurt in this game.
You're going up against a 40-year-old Zach Wilson, basically.
That might be yours. How about that?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that the saving grace might be that they face Aaron Rodgers instead of whatever version of Zach Wilson we ended up seeing? But I think it's a lot of what Seth said. It's the tight ends. It's the running back. Thank God that you've got Joe Mixon and he's as dynamic as he is. Could you imagine if it was the other way around and you were missing one of these receivers and Joe Mixon? Like, to me, in order to go up against some of these better defenses that also can get after your quarterback, especially on the interior, you've got to be able to run the ball. And of course, Joe Mixon gives you that dynamic of, hey, it's a running back who can do any and everything.
Yeah, and I like the idea that in the cold weather, which I anticipate it will be. I lived in New York for a long time. It always rained and it was always freezing on Halloween. So I don't know what the forecast is.
Oh, another flashback to last year.
But I kind of like that aspect of it. I also think that the Texans' offense seems to gain a lot of rhythm when they have shorter passes, shorter routes, underneath routes. I would like to see that next week, mixing in these guys like Robert Woods, Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie. So I think that they'll be okay, but especially because of the fact that they have Joe Mixon.
Well, Joe Mixon cures a lot of ills. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. Brandon Scott, Seth Payne from Sports Radio 610, both of you, thanks for being with us tonight on Sports Extra.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah. We spent all day together, and now we get to hang out even more.
Wow.
Can't get away from it.
I'm genuine. That's not sarcasm.
Yeah.
Genuinely
You're not a clown either.
I'm going to give an awkward hug.
I'll take it.